Everybody, welcome. I'm just going to do our opening prayer, open up our lives on a couple of other platforms, and then off we go. Already got some questions flooding in today, so we will get on this as quickly as possible. There we go. And up it goes over here. Okay. Okay. Oh, great Spirit, Father, Sky, Mother, Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, let me have a look and see what's coming up. Okay, so Terry's our first person. She's saying, hi, Sky. Our health has become better. Whoop, whoop. Thank you for all your help. You're welcome, beautiful. May I ask for a message from my guides? Thank you. Of course you can. Let me just grab. Okay, fine. I think we're doing romance today. I think love is in the air. I'm going to do Archangel Gabriel deck, and I'm going to do the Romance Angels deck. So you guys know that's what we're playing with today. Okay, let's do this. Terry, what messages do you have, angels? Oh, we're starting to get jumping cards already. It's alive. Law of attraction. Keep your thoughts positive and surround yourself with positive people and situations, and you'll attract more positivity in your life. So, my love, what I'm getting actually straight from your guardian angels is that you have a tendency to go back to your old habits when you get better. It's kind of like, after you've been on a diet and you've lost all the weight and you go back to eating junk food and all the weight comes back, you go back into relationships with toxic people, or you start pushing yourself really hard, and then you burn out again, and it's like a cycle. So your angels are really saying, you have to stay on this path. So the level of care that you were taking of yourself when you were sick, the level of care that you were taking with what you eat, with the people you hang around with the people you were sharing your energy with, the way that you were taking care of yourself when you were sick, that has to be sustained, right? And that's really, really important for your ongoing well-being. And that your divine life purpose is something to do with helping children. So it says part of your life purpose involves teaching, guiding, and helping young people. So it's this energy of, I think, like, what I'm feeling when I'm scanning is your heart. When I say that, goes bump, but there's something here, like something partly about healing your inner adolescent and your inner child, but also about you learning like self-compassion, you learning self-love. I think you're very hard on your inner child and you're very hard on your inner teenager, and this kind of this energy of, I should have healed this by now, they should have resolved by now, but there's no understanding, there's no genuine compassion for what you went through, because you didn't get that. That's what they're showing me, and that's what working with kids is going to give you. But stay away from toxic situations and toxic people, even when you're healthy, even when everything is okay. Life might be peaceful for a while. You might have to cut a lot of people out, but it's worth it, because trust me when I say that I learned this the hard way. People that are jealous of you, people that are using you to try and get to like whatever level of success that they want to get to, people that are like people pleasing, like all of that energy is not real love and it's not real friendship, and you will be just as lonely if you surround yourself with those people, right, than if you are by yourself, except that you will hold yourself back, because every time you grow, those people will hurt you or they will attack you for growing. Okay, so trust God. When God starts removing people, there's a reason, and very often when you do a sharp upwards, it's exactly because you were seeing the best in people, and you would have kept seeing the best in them until it destroyed you. when you're doing your divine life purpose, I kid you not, you have to give so much. You have to give back to humanity. You have to give a huge level to your clients and to your community. You have to give to your employees. You then have to give to partner, children. This a large amount of giving to keep it in balance requires space for receiving. It requires space for self-care. It requires space for working out and for eating healthy and for, receiving love. Okay, so it's really, really important. There we go. That's shifting really nicely. Okay, Judith is saying, Dear Sky, I would like to have a reading to the masculine aspect and a healing for clearing my father's line. Thank you so much. Look, what I will say around this is that whilst I never underestimate the power of an instant healing, I must have had like 4 or 5 DMs last week from people going, you sent a distance healing and it's sorted, it's done. I'm good. The issue's resolved. So time and space are illusions of consciousness. What I am going to say is that when it comes to healing your entire father line, because there are spiritual lessons that need to be mastered here, I would really recommend that you seek out proper, ancestral healing sessions, and that you read books like The Gods in Every Man, Magician, Warrior, Sage, Three Mothers, which is the book about the mothers of Martin Luther King and Gandhi and JF Kennedy. There comes a point where you need more than just instant healing, because you need the knowledge that's inside those traumas. Most women that ask me to heal their father's line or their ancestral line, it comes from, sorry if I trigger anybody, but it comes from a very victim place. It comes from a thinking that men haven't suffered and men are just bad people, and that's why they abuse and that's why they did bad things. And you have to understand that men have been bred, I kid you not, bred by the higher member of society to be violent, to be abusive, because that's useful for elite people in wars. It's useful for elite people in to run armies and keep control of companies. And, they want men to do some pretty horrific things. And it's not actually in male nature. Men are actually more sensitive and spiritual than women are. But those genes are the ones that are being bred and strengthened, which is quite horrific if you think about it. But, women, we have our own collective trauma, with grapes and with, forced arranged marriages and with patriarchal systems. But men have their own horrific traumas with conscription, with being forced to kill people, with not being allowed to spend any time with their children, with literally being worked to death. The vast majority of the homeless population is veterans. It's hardcore stuff. So when it comes to healing your male line, the angels are saying, please don't underestimate the level of pain that the masculine is in, or the level of the uprising that is coming. There you go. It's starting to move, but you can't heal your male line without loving them, right? So this energy, if I just want it healed, I just want them fixed, that's not going to move this mountain. But there we go. You can see it starting to, I can see it starting to move. And there's also this silence. So people go, why don't men talk? And it's like, well, they spend their whole childhoods being told, don't cry, toughen up. And when you come back from a war, you sure as hell don't want to relive the experiences of murdering people and having your best friend murdered. And if you talk about your pain, then people literally would label you a coward, or would tell you that you had a mental health problem, right? Or that you were depressed. So men are very good at not talking about some of the most difficult and heartbreaking situations of their lives, watching their brothers and their children and their best friends, die in arms. This stuff gets passed down generations. So we have to be present for that, and we have to allow that to have compassion, whilst knowing it's not our job to fix it. But when you want to heal your masculine side, you can't heal without love. There we go. That's moving. And this is definitely about clearing the way for your soulmate, because I'm playing with the Romance Angels deck. So, there we go. Yep. Soulmate card. This is about clearing the way for your soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. And it's an energy of understanding, like when you want to understand your soulmate, like we go into soulmate relationships thinking about, oh, this is our perfect person and they're going to make our life better, when the reality is that we're brought together to become the lights that we're supposed to be for the world, right? Not just to become the lights that we're supposed to be for yeah, like not just to be the light we're supposed to be for each other. And that's a very big concept in Course in Miracles, that a lot of intimate relationships are distorted because we actually pull back from the world and we stop serving our communities because of those intimate relationships. But that was a good clearing. Oh, okay, we have a few in here. Kaylee saying, can I have a card, please? Yes, you can. See what comes up. Oh, detox times. We're coming into summer. You can see how big this is. Releasing toxins from your body, mind, and diet. This is coming up around blue light, particularly laptop, TV. I don't know if you're spending a lot of time inside or if this is part of your job, but they're showing me blue light glasses. They're showing me you need sunlight for at least an hour first thing in the morning. They're showing me affecting your cortisol levels and making your mood kind of go up and down. And they're showing me that you are really not aware of how deeply it's connected to your gut. So you're thinking it's like some sort of personality disorder or just connected to trauma. And they're saying it's more than that. The trauma has like created lifestyle choices or habits that are then perpetuating this sadness that you're experiencing. Stay true to yourself. Don't compromise and what are your ideas. Listen to, trust, and follow your inner voice. This is like a Tay Swift moment, you know, like a Taylor Swift moment where where you really need to understand that anybody says that you can't have your dreams and your goals, that isn't somebody you want around you or be listening to. One of my old mentors used to say, don't listen to the dream stealers and don't share your dreams with the dream stealers. People that have never done what you want to do or have never been where you want to go are not the people to be sharing your dreams with or to be sharing advice with, right? You want to be moving in the silence. You want to be manifesting in the silence. You definitely don't want to be sharing your dreams with people who are jealous and you want a sign like my you're just saying you don't know how to recognize a jealous person because you're like, who, me? Why would anybody be jealous of me? So that's not for you to figure out. Okay, that involves you looking at their childhood and their past lives and their family systems and their own fears and inadequacies. People can be jealous of you for the daftest reasons, from the fact that they think you look better in a set of shorts to the fact that they might like the partner that you're with, like they might think you make more money than them. I kid you not. People can be jealous for all kinds of reasons. It's not your job to figure out why. Okay, it's your job to see when someone's jealous and to put up your unconditional love walls and to not share your dreams and stuff with those people, because energetically um they will block you from having the things that you want because they don't think you deserve it, and they will also try and convince you that you don't deserve to have the things that you want. Okay, Kaylee saying I've got long COVID. Okay, so let's release this jealousy, because jealousy causes unworthiness. All viruses come from a place of unworthiness. So can we release this belief that you're not worthy of your good, that you're not worthy of healing, that you're not worthy of your dreams? And we'll get Archangel Raphael to come in and do a complete healing. So to resolve the reason long COVID is not just about COVID. Long viruses or long symptoms from any kind of long-term virus, right? Like things like chronic fatigue, weakness, muscles, things like that, is because viruses deplete your vitamin and mineral supply out insanely dramatically. So you want to be getting yourself fulvic minerals, MSM, proper probiotics and prebiotics. You want to make sure that for the next 3 to 6 months, 3 times a day. Obviously, I don't know your medical history, so you have to make sure that any supplements that you decide to take are compatible with any medications you're already on, and that will repair the damage that's been done. But basically, whenever your body's fighting a virus or a parasite or a bacterial infection, it will put all of its resources in to destroying that virus. And that means, kind of like if you imagine it like a bank account, it will often spend um, it will spend money you don't have. So like it will strip magnesium and calcium and selenium from your bones to make what it needs to be able to fight the virus. So if you were depleted before you even got the virus, then you're going to be even more depleted afterwards. So most people get sick because they're depleted, both emotionally and physically, right? They're not taking their vitamins, they're not taking their minerals, they're not resting enough. And then the virus attacks and their body literally uses everything that you have. So you're putting everything back. You want to do it 2 or 3 times a day because your body can only absorb so much in like 6-hour increments. So you want to be like, taking your vitamins in the morning, taking your vitamins in the afternoon, taking your vitamins in the evening, drip by drip, bit by bit, for at least 3 months to really repair the foundations. But your magnesium, your zinc, your selenium, you can get a proper strong, I love Viridian. I love indigo herbs. I love A Source of Life. There's loads of very good companies that will help you remineralize and revitamize your body. But whenever you're getting like a long-term effect of a virus, it's because your body really gave everything and it doesn't have what it needs to repair and restore. If the virus actually damages your gut or your nervous system, you might have to add something like CBD oil or medicinal mushrooms to repair your nervous system. Okay, because your gut is a lot of nerves and you need to be able to absorb the food that you're taking in. If you feel like you're not absorbing the food that you're taking in, that's when I recommend you go and look up vitamin IVs and things like that so that you can get some nutrients in you and you can bypass your gut and your stomach until they're get a bit healthier. Also, fruit juices. I'm not talking about the kind you buy from the supermarket. I'm talking about the kind you make in a masticating juicer. Okay, a lot of the goodness from juicing vegetables and fruits in particular will get absorbed straight from your stomach into the bloodstream. Okay, so lots of ways of getting things absorbed faster and easier and smaller. I can't do too much. The fatigue is terrible. I take vitamin C. You need way more than vitamin C, right? You need to remineralize and revitamize your whole body. Vitamin C will help, but you're looking at in order for most people don't know this, but in order for your immune system to fight a virus, like most of your hormonal reactions only take place because of zinc and of magnesium. That's why the medical medium recommends flooding your body with zinc. Right. So whilst vitamin C can help your body make more zinc, it can complete the process. So this is why I'm saying you need a really, really strong multivitamin that you're taking 3 or 4 times a day. And if I were you, I'd probably be doing like a vitamin C flood. So like 5,000 to 10,000 IUs a day, a zinc flood around 150, 200 mgs a day. And I would get my butt over to a vitamin IV clinic if you're feeling absolute exhaustion. And it's insane how quickly long, and I've dealt with this a lot, not just with long COVID, but I've dealt with a lot of clients that had chronic fatigue, that had it from lupus, that had it from Epstein-Barr. It's a common side effect of long-term viruses or strong viral attacks, that had scarlet fever or inflammation. It's a common thing with viruses. So you want to revitaminize and remineralize your whole body. If you want to go into depth, that I would look up Andreas Moritz, Dr. Sebi, Barbara O'Neill. They'll talk about in depth about what I just am speaking to you guys about right now. Okay, so Gabriella is saying, Dear Sky, could you give me some advice regarding opening a healing business? I started the legal procedures, but for some reason I'm afraid to complete the process. What could be the blockage? Okay, so I'm going to trigger some people, but I'm going to say this, okay? Healers have this idea that you have to have everything healed and that you shouldn't feel any fear before you do things. And the reality is that whenever you're doing new things, fear is a part of the process, right? What you have to decide is whether you're going, what you have to decide is the meaning that you're giving to that fear, right? So what you're calling fear, I want you to start calling excitement. The first part to starting a healing business is not the legal. The first part to starting a healing business is the marketing and the sales, right? The legal can be getting done at the same time as that. But if you do legal first, legal is literally the job of a legal department. And like my legal person is to look at worst case scenarios and protect you from them. So by definition, it will bring up your biggest fear. So you're like, why is it bringing up the blocks? Because that's what's in the contract, is the things that what we're afraid of normally as healers when we're getting our certifications, right? When we're becoming channels and things like that, is we're afraid of getting it wrong. We're afraid of hurting other people. What becomes very clear when we're doing things like legal and contracts and stuff like that is how other people could hurt us. And very often we've done no digging and no healing around that, right? The lying and the reputation destroying and the potentially being persecuted. And you have to go deep into that side. But I wouldn't go deep there until you finish. Like, put up your marketing and sales for the rest of the year. Finish the contracts with your lawyer, but it's one of those energies of course it's coming up. Legal is designed to protect you from worst case scenarios, so it does trigger. It does make you think over what you're doing. It does make you realize that there are consequences to every action, every relationship, and it also makes you recognize just how much courage it takes to go out there as a spiritual healer and a teacher, right? um Hi, Kaylee. If you pop over to the website, it's just my name, SkylarAcamesis.com. We give away all of the detox for free, like the whole detox series, the whole list of everything that you need is for free on the website. Okay. So just type in the name. You should be able to, it's just SkylarAcamesis.com, and the whole detox series for liver, gut, parasites, all of that stuff is completely for free. So it will have all the supplements and things for you to build your body up from the inside out. And the reason we give that away for free is exactly because not everybody can afford sessions and nutritionists and naturopaths and stuff like that. And I've been there because I got sick very, very young, and I wanted you guys to have everything that you needed if you were in trouble. So no strings attached. Just pop over and grab our free detox program. It will take you through how to do liver flushes, how to heal your gut, how to reset your whole body with all the recipes and stuff like that inside our detox program. Okay. There are links underneath the video to the things that you need. Okay. Sarah saying, hi, Sky. Nice to see you again. Can I have a scan on my heart chakra? I feel a lot of things releasing lately, but the pain in my heart is still there. The sacral chakra also needs to be, also maybe the pain has to do with it. Okay. So pain has a purpose. Okay. Pain has a purpose, and it's twofold. One, it's to tell you that your behavior is out of alignment, and it doesn't work. So what, because in childhood we have to put up with so much abuse to survive, right? As adults, we often are completely dissociated from the amount of pain that certain behaviors have the potential to cause us. And as we mature, you start to realize that there are consequences, right? There are consequences to hanging out with people who are negative. There are consequences to every decision that we make in life, and that they're often heavier than what we thought that they were. Okay. So when it comes to your own, when it comes to releasing pain, the first stage is to understand that whatever behavior you were indulging in, whether it's in your intimate relationships or in family relationships, is not sustainable for you. Right? You need to figure out what those behaviors are as unique to you. When I'm scanning your heart, it looks like that, you need to protect yourself. It's like you're letting people attack you emotionally and verbally, and you're not having your own back. And that's causing you to lose trust in yourself on a very deep level. So that's what they're saying is the behavior that's causing you huge pain. Like I think it's biblical, but it says what hurts the most is not the how much your enemies want to hurt you or kill you or destroy you. It's the silence of your friends. So your best friend is you. And if you're silent when people are attacking you and hurting you and you do nothing, then, you lose trust in you, period. So it's very important that you start standing up for yourself, even if it's hard, because then you might not have a good relationship with that person anymore, but your relationship with yourself will become stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's that you have to live with you for the rest of your life, right? So you need to be able to trust yourself and rely on yourself. The reason it's connected to sacral is where inner child resides, right? And heart is where, the first time our heart gets broken is in childhood. And it's often exactly around the people that we love being silent on things that we need them to stand up for us for. Okay. Aisha saying, I want to release the extra protection weight on my body. What do I need to do? What's the best way to go about it? Thanks. So we're opening up our weight loss from within program again. So you're welcome to DMs. We go through the steps in depth, and there's the proper incredibly powerful healing guided meditations for this, because weight on the body is always about protection, right? So any any weight on the body is first heavy on the consciousness. And you want to start by taking like a fierce moral inventory. What behaviors do you currently have that you are numbing or shutting down or trying to bypass with food, right? Or trying to comfort with food. And that's where you kind of get into like the deeper traumas around that. So you don't, releasing weight is actually not about, the weight at all. Releasing weight is about releasing the pain that we are trying to avoid feeling with food, right? And when you release that pain, you don't want to eat that stuff anymore. You don't feel attracted to the same things anymore. And even when you do, your nervous system is able to process it differently. You're able to digest it and break it down differently. You're able to release weight a lot quicker, right? But that's how you go about it. That's how you break it down. I'm going to bring in Archangel Raphael for you. And I want you to just imagine every toxic food that you're craving on a table in front of you. And we're going to get him to pour healing light. And I want you to imagine as the light is poured onto all those foods and substances that you're addicted to, I want you to imagine them becoming like toxic waste, like proper toxic nuclear waste. There we go, that's moving. Okay, and I want you to feel him pulling the cords out of your stomach and plugging you and your stomach back into God, back into your higher power. Okay. So here's the caveat, okay, just so you guys understand this. You cannot release the weight and keep it off and stay in a dangerous environment. So I need you to look at your environment. I need you to take an honest inventory of whether or not you are safe emotionally, safe financially, safe spiritually. Okay. Because it will just manifest somewhere else. I kid you not. And it might be even worse than you carrying a bit of extra weight. So please, 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 please don't be superficial. Play it deep. Okay, Christina's saying, hi, Sky. So I met an amazing man and we both fell in love with each other. I have a feeling he can only be one of my compatible divine life partners. We're already talking about values and how to raise children. Now my body is in anxiety. I can't hold the food in. There's so much panic, fear, and I'm mindful already, did so many healings on this. Can you tell me what's the root here? I'd love to be out of panic. Thank you. So it's interesting that we just finished a reading on safety. Are you actually safe? Right? Because the pattern that I've seen consistently in you is getting into relationships very quickly before you have time to really know somebody or understand that person. And then expecting yourself to be okay. The body likes slow, and trust cannot be forced. It can only be given, so it feels like when I'm tuning into your body, your body's almost screaming too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast. And you're saying to me here, we're talking about values and about raising children. And so that we 100% talk about values and talk about raising children, but we need to go we need to get a bit more serious here. We need to go onto commitment issues. If you're talking about values and raising children, where's the ring, right? If this person wants you to commit your life to them, what about how do they treat women? How do they see commitment? How, your child thinks they are you for the first year of their life. So if your partner is mistreating you, then he is mistreating that child, whether he understands it or not. I kid you not. There are studies that prove that little children know and believe that they are their mothers until they reach at least a year and a half years of age, right? So it's really, really, really important to slow down. There's something here about like especially about the anxiety of like I'm not really lovable and they're going to find out, right? So this is 100% a lovability wound. And I'm going to kind of give people a bit of an energetic trigger here, but stop telling me that you guys have worked on this stuff for ages, because I don't care how long you've worked on it. If you've been playing it shallow when you need to be playing it deep, then it doesn't matter. You can go through 1,000 healings and not get through to the bottom because you're playing it shallow. You're not being honest with yourself about the game that you're playing. If the game that you're playing is that you're sleeping with people or using people to try and make yourself feel loved, then that isn't going to work. You guys know that you have to work on the wounds that caused you to make you feel unlovable in the first place. That you could work, you could be with every person on the planet and still not feel loved. So you guys know it's an inside job, and it's one of those things where you need to take a really deep breath and go, okay, where is my behavior out of alignment? I need to take a really fierce moral inventory over here. Okay. There we go. Mitra saying, Dear Sky, could I have an energy scan / angel reading, please? I feel like everything is falling apart, or is it just renewing itself? Love you so much. It is falling apart, but it's a bit like gods and angels are showing me. It's a bit like when you ask God to give you a house and you think he's just going to give you an extension, but actually you're getting a brand new house. It's exactly like that parable in the Bible where they say you've built your house on sand or you've built your house on hay, and it's not going to stand. It's not going to be able to face the storms. So God is like taking the whole house down to build it on rock, to build it on faithfulness, to build it on wholeness, to build it on your connection to spirit. Okay. Okay, let's see what comes up. Here is saying, Hi Sky, can you please do a reading for my health, especially left head, ear, and stomach, and no energy? My love, you need to feel your feelings. You need to feel your feelings. I think you need some somatic exercises or something like EFT, but you are just avoiding having a good cry. If you cried for like 2 or 3 hours, it's done. You are like, it's like you're not letting yourself grieve. You're not letting you really, really, really are like, these feelings are just unnecessary and I just want it gone. I just want it fixed. That is not love. Okay, that's control, it's criticism, it's being so hard on yourself. So can we release this? Can we release the control, the criticism, the judgment, the part of you that's like, why am I sad, when you've been through stuff that's legitimately hard and legitimately sad? Sadness is not an illness. Okay, it's a feeling, and sometimes you have to feel. There we go. So ears is not wanting to listen, right? Stomach is not being able to digest and break down life. And head is not being clear about what you really think. Okay. Desiree saying, Dear Sky, can you give me some advice about my situation with my ex-partner? We met again today and had some lovely days. Now I wonder whether there's a chance for a reunion or what's going on here. To know or learn from me, what I really desire is the man or husband in my life who's the most compatible. No, 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 no. I'm really sorry, but no, stay away from this person. They can't give you what you want. They really can't give you what you want. I'm going to draw the cards just to yeah. So the card that you got was chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Retreat. Release your ex. Okay. So chemistry is in Western society, we think lust is love. We think chemistry is love. We're like, oh, I really desire them. I really like having sex with them, therefore it's right. This is insanity. This is confusing oxytocin and dopamine. It leads women in particular in so many toxic relationships. If that person didn't have the skills to treat you with love, dignity, and respect, and to give you the level of commitment that you were looking for when you were together, right? You left them for a reason. Okay. And you ended the relationship for a reason. I'm not saying that the love isn't real. The love is real. But when you're saying, I'm looking for a husband, I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for this, leaving the toxic relationships is only the first step. Raising your standards and getting in the room with men who are actually capable and have the emotional and spiritual musculature required to provide those things is a very big part of success. So it's kind of like those TikTok videos that you see coming down the stream where the men are saying, if you want to be different, take her to church or to meditation instead of to bed, right? Put a ring on her finger instead of what's it called, taking her for a coffee, right? Have deep and long conversations instead of going for like weekends away, or where you're just being intimate with each other. So if you want a different result, you have to date a different type of person who's going to treat you a completely different way. You have to date somebody who's not just objectifying your body and who's not just in love with your with what you can do for them. That if a man is interested in what you can do for them in the relationship, he is in his feminine energy. And that means he'll be looking to take, which, especially if you want husband and children, that doesn't work. A man needs to be in his masculine, looking at what can I give? How can I serve? Right? So if it's in that energy of what can I take from this woman? Right? And how does she work in my life? That is not a man in his masculine, right? That's a very predatory energy. That is a man in his feminine, who is trying to get something from you, get sex, get attention, get time, but doesn't want to value those things. Okay? Can you give me advice on helping my daughter? I'm scared when our marriage ends that she will break. Um, when I'm scanning, I really feel like the conversation that with your daughter, like the Archangel Metatron's coming in super strong, and he's like the conversation with your daughter. What's going to break her is not the marriage. It's not about the marriage ending. What's breaking her is the fact that she feels like it's her fault, right? And that any beliefs that you have on any level that the marriage failed because of the child need to be released. And the really deep conversation with her, letting her know, right, that that you deeply, deeply love her, but that also you're, as her mother, are here to demonstrate what real love is. And letting her watch you be emotionally abused and being treated like you're worthless for years is not okay, because it's going to mean that she's going to grow up and do the same thing. Right? It's not a lack of love for her. It doesn't mean that she was a mistake. It's not a lack of love for your partner. It's just, you don't walk away from a marriage or from a relationship because the person um to teach the other person a lesson. You walk away because you have learned your lessons, right? And when you understand your worth, when you understand your value, and you get who you are, you're no longer able to be around people who don't, and you understand the negative effects that you staying in the marriage will have. She's still at that stage where you can catch her and teach her what real self-worth looks like. But undoing all the years of you taking emotional abuse in this marriage, that's the work for her not to get destroyed. It's not about you leaving. What's going to happen when you get a divorce is that she will fall apart, but not because you got divorced, because of all the years that you put up with the emotional abuse. Okay. And I would genuinely recommend that you both get proper therapeutic help and support for this process, and that you are comfortable with her not being okay, and that you get comfortable with you not being okay, because you're both going to be safe emotionally for the first time, and that means it's all going to come up, right? It's all going to release. And that is part of the healing process. People think you can like move from an emotionally abusive relationship, and because the divorce comes through, you're not going to feel sad. You're not going to have to process all the feelings that you had to swallow for God knows how many years, that your body's not going to have a nervous system regulation process. And they often mistake that for depression or for like a complete nervous breakdown or stuff like that. And it's just a healing crisis. It's just a complete recalibration. Nobody's supposed to be in an abusive relationship for long term. And yet, particularly if the partner is violent or if the partner is on drugs, or and you feel like you wouldn't be able to protect your child, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, women will sacrifice themselves. And they are, as far as I'm concerned, it is necessary. We are required to protect our children, but I think at the same time it has a price, right? And we have to be, it's the hardest thing as a mother to be present with your child's pain, but it's what they need us to do. All right, and notice I didn't say indulge, I said be really deeply present with and allow it to be. Right? When they say, oh my God, the divorce hurts so much, you say, come here, let me hold you. I get it. This is really hard. This is a huge feeling, and we're going to feel it together. Right? You don't say, oh, I guess I'm a terrible mother, or, it'll pass with time, or you'll get used to it. You say, this is a really big feeling, and we're going to feel it together. And I'm so sorry it hurts so much. You teach them how to be present with their own feelings. By being present with their feelings, you become their inner voice and their own relationship with their own emotional structure, which is a lot of responsibility. But I promise you that it doesn't matter when you start, that it does have an effect. Okay, Mattis is saying, hi, beautiful sky. Do you have any guidance for my friend Daniela? She has cancer, and now the cancer is back on her left lung. I have consent. Thank you for everything. Heart song. So theta healing heart song exercise. This woman needs to cry. She's angry about having been sad most of her life, and she just can't. The regret is a lot. So I'm going to call on Archangel Raphael. We're going to pull as much regret out as we can. But I would also really recommend that she needs to be working with a naturopath or a healer. Like, she needs to be. The fact that it's coming back means that the emotions weren't really addressed the first time round. So the same, and it's when I work with people that have cancer, or it's not just cancer that comes back. It's called a relapse for a reason. There's many illnesses that come back. What I found is that the abuse is also coming back. So when I look at the energetic patterns, the illness returning is in direct parallel to the abuse returning, right? The emotional abuse or the physical abuse or the financial abuse that's going on. So something re-triggers it every single time. And illness is often a form of protection. And just like illness works in cycles of return, so does patterns of abuse work in cycles. Okay, so if they're with a narcissist, for example, it's normally when they've gone from the hoovering stage back into the abuse stage. I thought the abuse was over, but it wasn't. It was just on hold. If they were really hating their job and suddenly they have to go back, and the illness was the only thing stopping them from going back, suddenly they're experiencing financial abuse again or bullying at work again. So look at the cycle. Where did the abuse get re-triggered? It can be from stepchildren, it can be from your own kids, where did it come back? It can be from parents. But if the cancer returned, and the abuse returned somehow, and the abuse will have returned months before the illness showed up. This is just metaphysics, by the way. This is not like neuroscience, it's just metaphysics. But look for the cycle of abuse, and you'll understand the return of the illness, because the physical illness is a manifestation of the emotional and psychological and spiritual stress that the person's body is under. Oh, Samantha's saying, any answer for me? Let me scroll up and see if I can find you. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I know, I still can't see you, but I'll pull a card for you, Samantha. Let's see what it says. Okay. Oh, helping children and success. So I just tune into you. I think you're facing some kind of a difficult situation. Like, there's a real energy of self-doubt here, and just not knowing if you're going to make it, not knowing if the effort that you want to put into this is worth it, not knowing if you're going to be okay. And there's, like, the angels are really saying you will make it. Aim and you will hit your mark, and that your children will be okay. Right? Whether that's, I'm not sure if you teach and you have your own, but there's a mix here. There's a real fear of what's going to happen to the children if you put yourself first. And the reality is, when we put ourselves first, we teach other people to put themselves first. You don't have to put yourself first at the expense of anybody. You can do it with them. You can do it together. Nope. Telly, I can't see your question. I don't know why TikTok is showing us some questions and not showing others. I really don't know. But I'm on Restream as well, which is where the big stream of questions tends to come in even before I start the lives. Feel free to repost your question. Hopefully it won't be censored by whoever is doing the censoring. Okay. Sarah's saying, "Hi Sky, nice to see you again. Can I have a scan on my heart chakra? I feel a lot of things releasing lately, but the pain in the heart is still there." Yeah, so we already answered that one. Already answered that one too. Okay, Renee saying, "Good morning. Can't seem to heal. Any questions from any guidance for chronic pain and mobility issues?" Okay, so chronic pain is a reflection of pain is a reflection of your body's belief that it is still in danger. And that can be a reflection of emotional or physical abuse that you're still going through, or it can be a reflection of your unconscious mind still believing that this is happening and your nervous system being dysregulated from childhood or abuse or from other lifetimes. Okay, so I'm going to call on Archangel Raphael to help you with an instant healing. But things like somatic therapy, working with a medical intuitive, what's the word? Taking like a really deep inventory of the emotional and psychological pain that you're in will start to move those on a metaphysical level. Removing all inflammatory foods, particularly sugar, caffeine, carbs, changing to like an alkaline plant-based diet is a huge deal for reversing things like this. I remember I'd been ill for almost 7 years at the first time that I went on like a raw vegan diet, which is basically, plants and more plants and living plants. So 90%, salads and like 20% juices and things like that. And I'd been in so much pain. I mean, agony. Every footstep was pain. And then within 3 days, it was crazy. The pain was almost completely gone. I was, it was insane. I remember sobbing like a child because nobody had told me that before. Okay, so anti-inflammatory foods, remove all sugar and all processed foods as quickly as possible. Okay, and you want to flood your body with vitamins, minerals, um, as much fresh fruit and veg as possible. See what happens. It's insane what happens, when you give your body a chance to heal. When it comes to chronic illness, it's either I tell you, I kid you not, it's either the nervous system is trapped in the cycle and is unable to regulate because it thinks the abuse is still happening, or the abuse is still happening. And those are two very different situations to deal with. Mitra is saying, "Thank you so much. I have doubts about whether my marriage is toxic. Am I overreacting?" You're not overreacting. You're not overreacting. It's just so when you're with somebody who is toxic, they don't know that they are. Okay, it's how they learned to survive growing up. And what happens is that there's something called cognitive dissonance. Okay, for those of you that are new to the whole psychology language term, it's a fancy word for confused. So when a person treats you very well in public, or let's say even half of the time, and then suddenly flips to treating you badly, you will run around like a headless chicken trying to figure out why, trying to figure out how to make them go back, trying to figure out if you did something wrong, trying to figure out if there's a reason. And there is a reason. It's because their trauma programmed into their unconscious mind on a somatic level has a flip, right? And because they haven't healed their trauma, they're trying to hold it down. And when they're able to hold it down, the loving behavior, the good behavior is out and about. When anything stressful happens, when there's disappointment, extra pressure at work, sleep deprivation, an argument with a friend, whatever, a child gets sick, they are no longer able to hold the trauma down. And that's when the explosion happens. That's when they become emotionally abusive or physically abusive or whatever. And you're running around thinking it's about you. It's not. The way they treat you is a reflection of their wounds, not your worthiness. Right? But if even if you have done something wrong, the fact that your partner can't sit down with you calmly and say, "Look, this behavior is hurting me," right? And give you 3 to 6 months to completely resolve it, unless it's like very toxic behavior, is a sign that they're toxic. An adult with regulated emotional issues will say to you, "Hey, this is painful," or "Hey, why are you doing that?" They're not going to flip out or get mad at you or play games with you, especially not if their marriage is on the line, right? They're going to be like, okay, what's going on? Right? Is there a way that I can support you more? Is there something that's going on here? Is there something you're not saying? They're not just going to flip out on you. So, oh, I'm getting goosebumps all over. So what happens when they treat you really well and then treat really badly is cognitive dissonance, which is a fancy word for confusion. That exactly what you're asking in your question, is it them or me, right? And the answer is the way somebody treats you is about them. The way that you respond is about you. So I wouldn't say that like the fact that they're toxic gives you the right to behave in a toxic way in any way, shape, or form. It just means that you're like, okay, how can I make myself safe? How can I get myself into a situation where this person can no longer manipulate me or hurt me or put me in a state of confusion every time they misbehave? Because what the other thing that will happen with a toxic person is that they will get angry at you for holding them accountable. They won't, when you say no to a toxic person, they will attack you and they will just try and hurt you. And that's when you start to think you're going crazy. When you say no and set boundaries with a healthy person, they will say to you, I get it. I'm really sorry that hurt you. And they will attempt to make amends or make remorse. Or they will say, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to talk about it with my with my therapist or whatever, because I am not sure if this is something about my character that I want to change. But there's not going to be any abuse there. It's just going to be, how do we deal with this? And is this something that we can carry forward or not? Okay. Okay, Moonchild is saying, hi, please, can I have a card? I lost my daughter 3 years ago and I feel like I've hit a roadblock to healing. Okay, let's see what it says. I got a card yesterday, but I don't think it's one of the ones on the deck. It was when I was doing an angel reading for me, but the same card is popping into my head, that's the card that says your children are safe with us in heaven, and it keeps popping into my third eye and popping into my third eye. So let's see what comes up. Okay, so it's your perfectionism around parenting. I think you're running over your head every single mistake that you made, everything that you could have done differently. And they're like Archangel Gabriel, who is actually the angel of conception and the angel of pregnancy, is coming in really strong. Let's just take a moment to bring in Archangel Azrael, who's the angel of grief. It's okay to miss her. It's okay to not be okay. Oh, there we go. I'm really getting a strong message from Archangel Azrael for you that it's okay to grieve. I think you haven't really let yourself grieve. It's interesting, right? That when we lose important people in our life, especially women, we feel like we have to be strong for everybody else. And we are, but then it means that we don't properly get to grieve. So the heart song from Theta Healing, a proper grieving ceremony, journaling with that passed away loved one. Give yourself a space to properly, like, you're looking at least an evening. For a child, I've never gone through what you were going through. I've only been through miscarriages, and each miscarriage was at least 2 weeks of crying for me. So I don't know how long it would take me to grieve. I know that historically speaking, it would be at least a year, right, of letting yourself properly cry without it before it's called depression or not being able to heal. We live in a culture that doesn't like sadness. We live in a culture that wants to pathologize emotions. And the reality is it's natural to grieve. It's normal to grieve. There's nothing, like the message I'm getting really strong is you're not sick. You're sad. There's a difference, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to get support with that sadness. And it's also okay to know that one day you will no longer be sad, and it will just be the love that remains, right? It's also important to know that you will be reunited with this person, right? You will be reunited with this person. Okay. Joanna's saying, is healing, architecture, or art on my divine path? Should I keep going as I have already started as an independent or start again working with another company in order to pursue my path? Keep going. It's all three, darling. Healing, architecture, and art are combined. It's all three. It's like me asking the angels, is medical intuition, channeling, or book writing, or being an entrepreneur my path? It's all of them, right? I'm an entrepreneur and I heal and I channel, and it's all part of the path. So it's not. It's interesting sometimes because, especially when it comes to getting rid of toxic situations, God tends to prune and cut things out of your life. But when it comes to gifts, God tends to multiply and compound and create like explosive blessings. So very often when it comes to career, it's not one path or the other. It's multiple paths at once, and just choosing what to prioritize for a season, right? So they're showing me like it's okay to really prioritize the art and the architecture at the moment, and then as that grows stronger, to start bringing in the healing aspects. And it comes in so strong because buildings are so healing. If you think about, the Sistine Chapel, or like the big pyramids that they built, especially the glass ones in the center of London, buildings are healing. Buildings are healing spaces. So and they're showing me that that's how it's going to be combined, that your artwork and the architecture and stuff is going to come together. And I'm getting goosebumps all over as I say that. Shell saying, very true. Men deserve to show emotions, and tears are better out than, yeah, tears are better out than 100%. This is why we spend a childhood telling men not to cry, and to repress their emotions, and that they're weak if they have emotions. Then we wonder why we have men with anger issues. It's absolute insanity. Um, it's absolute insanity. You can't emotionally abuse boys and expect to have emotionally mature men. But it's very rare, I kid you not. As a mum of a 2-year-old little boy, it is very rare. Show me a woman that can be present with a man's pain, and I'll show you a woman that's done her work. It is, it's rare. I maybe see it 1 out of every 50 mothers that I'm with, present with their child's pain, um, at every stage, whether it's teenager or toddler, and especially with boys, and especially with their partners. So their complete lack of compassion and love for their male partners, especially because they have so much resentment, obviously, makes their sons terrified of them and terrified of women. So and they can't see it. They become blind. I'm not on the men's side, just so you guys know. I can see both sides very clearly. I'm a woman. I've had it all go down. I know what it's like to be taken advantage of for domestic labor, emotional labor, child um, bearing and things like that. I know what it's like to be sexually and emotionally hurt and abused. I'm on both sides. I just think that women have, because of the feminist movement, we have a vocabulary to wrap around our pain that men do not have yet, and they are just beginning to figure out. So I'm bridging where I can. Okay. Okay. Lost my father-in-law 2 weeks ago. Hard times. Would love a card. Yep. Getting pulled to a different deck. Oh, okay. Okay, there's a fraud person on Restream, guys. It's coming up as Jenna Medium Spirit. It's not a real person. It's a fraudulent account asking you guys to DM them privately. Please don't respond. Okay, I won't DM anybody asking for paid readings. And the only place you can book a healing or a reading is the website. Period. Point blank. Okay, but please don't get scammed. Please don't give your information or any money or anything like that out to anybody. Okay? Okay, so for your father-in-law, divine order. There's some sort of family arguments going on around money coming in, and this is like very much showing me that there justice will be done. Archangel Raguel, who's the angel of like bringing peace to arguments and situations, is saying everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. So this is the affirmation, right? That everything will work out for our highest and best good, and not being afraid of doing the right thing. When people are grieving, they go a bit mad, I kid you not. So the way they're behaving is not a reflection of their true nature. It's just a reflection of the amount of pain that they're in, right? So it's about seeing it from God's side and keeping repeating what you want to create versus what you're afraid of. Okay, so this energy of everything will be distributed fairly. The family will grow more united in their grief instead of be torn apart by it. I declare God's peace and mercy and goodness will follow this family every single day of their life. I declare that God's power is more powerful than grief, right? I'm getting goosebumps all over when I say that, but it's this energy of don't stay in the situation as an observer. You need to switch into the energy of being a creator, right? Join your mind with God's mind, because that's what the energy of like your father-in-law is saying so strongly, is that he wants the family together as much as possible. It might be a difficult ask. I'm not saying have conversations with them about it. I'm saying start using the power of prayer and the power of manifestation to bring it about. Because that's what I'm seeing coming up so strongly. Hi, do you pull free cards? Yep. I pull every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 1 until 2 normally. I'm still here at 1:15. Do free angel card readings. I've been doing them for years. I'm new on TikTok, but got Restream on as well. So we're live across YouTube and Facebook and Insta and on here too. So yeah, if you drop a question, I'll go to where I'm guided. I help as many people as we can within this hour period. Okay. Dean Williams is saying, please, can I have a reading? Yep. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so the first card that came up for you is chakra clearing, and then Archangel Sandalphon. So chakra clearing is Archangel Metatron, and this one tells me that you've taken on so much stuff from other people that you no longer know what's you and what's them. You no longer even know what your life purpose is. Like Archangel Metatron is such a powerful, I will put you back on your spiritual path. I will take you back to happiness. I will take you back to wholeness. Your faith will make you whole. And he definitely wants to come in and help you clear out your energy and your chakras, just releasing all the pain that you've taken on from other people. They're actually showing me you're a very caring person. I don't know if you're even doing volunteering, but they're showing me you listening to other people's problems and your heart breaking at how much emotional and spiritual pain that they're in. Being able to be present with people's pain is a spiritual gift. But Archangel Sandalphon, which is the next angel that came in, right, is the angel that takes people's prayers up to heaven. So you want to be releasing their pain into God's light instead of absorbing into your body or absorbing it into your mind, because otherwise you won't be okay. Okay. You're a beautiful soul, but you need to be a bit more conscious about what's happening to your energy. Archangel Sandalphon is being very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. So there's a lot here about listening to music, right? And there's something like, I know that for me, one of the ways that fastest ways that I can connect to my joy and to my faith in God and in life is to take a walk on the beach, listening to spiritual music and singing, right? If I praise my higher power, if I worship, if I let go and really allow myself to feel God's love, it's insane how quickly things shift. It's insane how quickly I manifest. So there's this real energy of make sure that you're moving people's energy into God's light when they're sharing their problems with you, and give yourself time to rest, like repair. You're in a burnt out stage. So we're going to call on Archangel Michael to protect you as well. Telly saying you still don't see my question, probably because TikTok is removing. You know when they say TikTok goes, we're removing some questions to protect the user experience. It's probably that. But I'm not good with tech, just so you guys know. I have someone to help me with that, but I'm not good at it myself. So I don't know how to stop it from doing that. Okay, Unique Roxy saying free card pull. So we almost pulled for you before. I'll pull for you now. And then I'm going to have to go. Oh, same card again, gentleness. So this card is saying that you're being super hard on yourself. And I'm not, there's almost like an energy of busyness and not stopping, not giving yourself time to breathe. There you go. And it's actually hiding a sadness. So when I'm tuning into it, I feel like crying. So the busyness is how, if you're addicted to work, right? If busyness is your self-worth, then stopping is going to feel like anxiety and sadness and might cause like a little bit of a healing crisis. Oh. So actually, the angels are saying to me that some people have been treating you badly, and you're kind of stopping trusting yourself because they've been treating you badly. So when you've got a betrayal wound, right? Betrayal wounds are there on a spiritual level to teach us to trust God first. When we don't trust God, we put our trust in people, and people do let you down, right? When you trust God first, God will guide you as to who to let in. And people are with you for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. But regardless of whether they come or they go, your trust in God sustains you. Your trust in yourself is unwavering. And that's a big deal. Oh, that's moving. Okay. One more. Sarah's saying, yes, lately I started to really try and set boundaries, and it's scary, and situations that need boundary setting keep coming up. Yeah, so I'm gonna like take off the rainbows and sprinkles because there's all these spiritual teachers out there lying to you, telling you that if you set boundaries, everything will be okay, and that if your people are attacking you, it's because you're not setting boundaries. The truth is that when you are setting boundaries, the people that were getting something, your time, your energy, your money, your healing, your friendship, potentially even sex with you, because you didn't have boundaries, they're going to be pissed. And not only are they going to be pissed, they're going to start testing those boundaries, right? Sometimes they'll even put on a mask, do their best behavior until you're tired or you're going through something, and then they'll try and break down that boundary. Okay. So when you start setting boundaries, it is a time of increased conflict, and it is a time of increased fallout because you're seeing who is actually really loving towards you and who was just in your life so they could get something from you. And it's really hard. It's really hard to see the truth, especially if it's people that you thought loved you. But it's really important. It's a really important part of your spiritual evolution, because if people are taking your energy and they feel entitled to your time and to your energy and to your being, then that drains you on a huge level, and it stops you from being able to take your divine life purpose to the next level, because your divine life purpose takes energy. Okay, Ashdeep is saying, hi Sky, can you do a body scan for me? Yesterday was my anniversary and I'm having a hard time being intimate with my husband. It's my fear since I am pregnant, or is it something else? Can you help remove any fears in the body, please? My love, like what I'm feeling is that you're exhausted and that you haven't really felt supported in this pregnancy. There's like a feeling of, almost being abandoned or neglected. So I hate to break it to your partner, but the fact that it's your anniversary doesn't mean he's entitled to intimacy, right? Intimacy is not created in the bedroom. Intimacy is created in the mind and in the heart, and that leads to sexual behavior. But even when you are, um, well, even when you have intimacy, particularly during pregnancy and postpartum, you need to trust your body. So if you're not feeling right being intimate with your partner, then you need to tell him, darling. You need to tell him that he needs to give you grace. And adult men can handle that. A man can handle a wife that doesn't want intimacy during her pregnancy, and it's very, very common. I'd say it's at least 50% of pregnancies. There's nothing wrong with you, right? There's not necessarily a blockage there. It's just that when you're creating life, there can be so much energy going into that life, right? And there's so many changes in your body that you don't necessarily feel like you have more to give, right? You don't have the energy to go through the phases. So we're just going to take a moment to release all the beliefs that there's something wrong with you. Any fears that he will leave you or cheat on you if you tell him the truth. Okay, and there's energy of comparison here, so stop comparing yourself to people's sex lives on Instagram. Yes, there are lots of women who feel comfortable with intimacy during pregnancy, but I wouldn't say it's more than, let's say it's about 50%. There's a lot of women that don't, and it's okay. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're you. There we go. You're growing him a baby. You're turning you guys into a family. You're doing enough. Whoa. I don't know who else was listening that needed that, but it was quite a few. Okay, I'm going to stop here, guys, because it's already 20 past. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.